Hey, hello, and welcome to the Ant-Man channel. It is Tuesday, the 18th of February, 2014, and I'm your host, Ant-Man. Now, I got an article in front of me from ClashDaily.com with Doug Giles, and it is titled, U.S. Army Builds Replica City to Practice Invasion by Marilyn Assenheim. Friday was Valentine's Day. It is somewhat paradoxical that the Telegraph reported a news item that had an emotional impact but didn't inspire love. The U.S. Army has built a 300-acre fake city in order to train for unspecified future combat scenarios. Constructed at a cost of $96 million, the site located in Virginia was completed in less than 2 years. Early critics of such expenditure cite Virginia's plethora of abandoned properties which could have provided ample opportunities for practicing occupation as well as bringing money into those areas. Britain's Daily Telegraph provided additional details. The 300-acre town includes a 5-story embassy, a bank, a school, an underground subway and train station, a mosque, a football stadium, and a helicopter landing zone. The realistic subway station comes complete with subway cars, and the train station has real train cars. The subway cars even carry the same logo as the cars in Washington, D.C. All of the streets and business sports signage written in English, and the town is American in every aspect. What is causing skepticism and the somewhat muddled justifications offered up by the by the Army for such a city? Colonel John P. Petkosek is the commander of the U.S. Army Asymmetric Warfare Group. The Telegraph offered his reasoning. This is the place where we can be creative, where we could come up with solutions for problems that we don't even know we have yet. That's just showing, the Illuminati, whatever the hell you want to call them, are just like showing you their hand right now when that kind of stuff is said. People are just following orders in this generation. I haven't even read the rest of this quote yet, so I'll just read it. This is where we look at solutions for the future, material solutions and non-material solutions. The things that we do here at this facility will have a direct and lasting impact on our entire army. Well, what does that say is that, nowadays people are so passive. It's feminization of men, and this, probably because of the public school trained a lot of people to just follow orders and worship authority figures. So that's how you pick that stuff out, man. This is just spiritual discernment at its peak for me, because I've never had it any better in my life, and it's always getting better, I guess. But when I look at that, it's just, how do you not know what you're training for? And that makes it so obvious. We put up these very base people to be officials, and so on and so on, man. I don't know. There's BPA, fluoride. We're under chemical and neurological attack right now, because it's also also I noticed the other day is that it's the kids, the ones that are really into that whole like gangbanger culture, and it's just perpetually going on. I'm starting to think that when I look at people, I'm seeing that they don't like it, and you know what I mean? But it's being force-fed to your children, so it's kind of something you have to live with. But when you grow up and when you get mature and you figure out that all of that's stupid, you're like, okay, then this is, you know what I mean? This is like, I call it brainwash, to just be honest with you. And it's just, that's what's making our culture, because it's cool because I was just watching something on Perry Stone right now, and Perry Stone was talking about how the gods that they worshipped in Sumeria when the Jews were letting in anybody into Sumer or Sumeria to just bring their gods in or whatever. There was Asherah, and there was the other one, Molech, and these gods are still false gods of today. They were also back in those days too. But what those two gods spiritually bring around are bad spirits, and these spirits manifest it like in their manifestation. What you see, the fruit of what that is child sacrifice and sexual immorality, perversion. Two things that are like sacred rights now in America, and with all of the dumbing down and all of the feminization of the men, I could see why. It's scientific dictatorship status like 101. You know what I mean? That's just what they do to control you, and this is all a game to them. It is the last part of that statement that is of concern. Certainly, the United States military's ability to perfect techniques against the possibility of terrorist incursion into America is something no one could complain about. Questions arise, however, regarding exactly who the U.S. military considers terrorists. Probably me, because I'm Christian. I know we're living in the end times. I'll tell you what I think. I can cognitively think. What else? I could use critical thinking, scientific method. You can't really fool me. I could look into things when you tell me stuff, or I already have some type of, I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to some things, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I study. Not so long ago, the news carried reports that the United States military was instructed to add what are largely considered conservative groups to their definition of domestic terrorists, according to Infowars.com. I have a teacher at where I go to Hillsdale College online. It is my teacher, my professor, Dr. Terrence O. Moore, I believe, is his name. He does these speeches on Common Core, and they're on YouTube if you want to check them out. But he talks about how Common Core, how they're just making us stupid, and how they're taking all our stories away from us, all of our American stories that inspire us and do all that, and they're making us read dumb stuff. They label like Grapes of Wrath to be like second grade literature, and that's like ridiculous if you think about it. And they're also telling you that right wingers are fascists in the Common Core. They give you very suggestible questions and methods of teaching things in there, and it's really interesting. You should look into that. The increasing demonization of domestic political groups as extremists has prompted numerous scenarios where commentators have suggested that U.S. Army and National Guard personnel could be needed to quell civil unrest. In 2012, an academic study about the future use of the military as a peacekeeping force within the United States, written by a retired Army colonel, depicted a shocking scenario in which the U.S. Army is used to restore order to a town that has been seized by Tea Party insurrectionists. The study revealed plans for the military to carry out civil disturbance operations during which troops would be used domestically to quell riots, confiscate firearms, and even kill Americans on U.S. soil during mass civil unrest. There's something called posse comitatus that is absolutely against. And when your government is premeditating how to fight you, it's because they know that they're criminals and they're breaking the law. It's obvious. So what you do is you start getting involved. You start speaking up. When we all break out of our trance and we all wake up, though, it's going to be bad. But I think that we're, you know what I mean? Like, when people go into exile or captivity because of their immorality, perversion, and child sacrifice and shedding of innocent blood, because I'm a Christian, I take that stuff literally, if you want to use that word, that is the fruit of what what we've become. We're as smart as a third world country, or if you want to even call it that. We're not the smartest people in the world anymore. We're not by far any of the most creative people. Art is going down the drain. A lot of things are going down. You don't see talent anymore. You see a bunch of gangbanger rap artists with no talent ripping each other off on their music and doing the same monkey dance every time. And don't take that racially, because I'm saying monkey as in you're an idiot. Because I know most of these rap artists are black, but I'm not saying that, alright? You're putting words in my mouth if you're saying I said something racist. When I say monkey, I mean if you believe you came from a monkey, or you want to act like an animal, then you're a monkey, alright? You're an animal. You want to believe you're an animal, then you're going to behave like one. Or if you don't know you're made in the image of God, you will act like an animal. You won't know that that's what makes you different than the animals, is that you're a moral human being, and that you should value your soul and your spirit and your body and your mind and your heart, your strength. You should value virtue and not the carnal things that are fun. Drinking and eating and being merry are nothing better in the world than doing that, but we run away from life because of that, and we run to that to run away from life, and that's where we got to balance it. You know what I mean? You got to have fun, but also it's not just all about having fun and having sex and being irresponsible by having abortions and stuff like that. It's about having responsibility. It's about living and you know, pretty much owning it. Sorry for all the ranting. I mean, this is me, spiritual. I know that stuff's like kind of like weird nowadays. Nobody believes in this postmodern era that there is such a thing as spirituality. Soldiers at Fort Hood were being indoctrinated by their superior officers that Christian Second Amendment supporters, Tea Party advocates, and anti-abortion activists presented a radical terror threat. No, not like America is. You know, we adopt all of these religions from like the Middle East and from like India and stuff, and all the kids that go to college are all like, you know, they'll even be going to like places called like Saint something, you know, university, and they'll still be Buddhist or Islam or something, and it's like, yeah, you're bringing your broken country religions over here when you have a religion here. You know, our parent countries have been literally, we're orphans now because our Common Core and all that stuff doesn't teach who inspired in America, like philosophically. It was, you know, Athens and Jerusalem, you know what I mean? But now it's like you're trying to, you know, through all the television that, you know, we make fun of Jews and Christians like it's fun. Athens, we don't really even talk about that. We only like, if anything, Hollywood is obsessed with Nephilim and, you know, man and beasts mixed together and, you know, like all that Greek mythology stuff. But, you know what I mean? It's like we're cultural, we're orphans now. Let's see. There is no word that this order has been withdrawn. Infowars.com points out that this is language endorsed by the Department of Homeland Security. Homeland Security added liberty lovers to the list of domestic extremists, turning domestic terrorism into a rather broad endeavor. Just a year ago, former Navy SEAL Ben Smith warned that the Lion Kings, lion like your lion, Lion King's regime was interrogating top military brass, questioning whether or not they would be willing to disarm and fire on American citizens. This past week, the Ohio National Guard conducted training exercises against Second Amendment supporters, and the Department of Homeland Security placed its largest order to date for ammunition. Executive orders have significantly broadened and relaxed the laws governing martial law. Now the Lion King's regime will unleash the military to be creative, to make blueprints for solutions that will have a direct and lasting impact on our entire army. Didn't similar solutions transpire in World War II, Germany? Yeah, they did. And they got, you know, people burned and got killed. So you got to do something now, America. You got to take this stuff seriously. You got to admit it to yourself. Admit it to yourself that God exists as well, because it's going to suit you well. If God doesn't exist to you, then literally He doesn't. But He wants to get to know you, and He wants to show you His ways. His ways are way better than ours. He will show you why it is that you feel like you have a black hole in your heart, why you feel like you're alone sometimes, and all. If you make Him your joy and your peace, you will thank Him for it every day and praise Him every single day. But anyways, I hope you guys were blessed by that. God bless you and have a good day.